In this restless century going faster and faster, dominated by distractions of all kinds and the growing lack of time, I thought we could time travel in the 18th century. The slower rhythm of life probably implied a different way to manage time. We are going to see how some favorite writers and artists of mine are managing and protecting their time, dealing with interruptions, distractions, work, time wasters, excuses for not doing things, and maybe learn a few lessons from them. We will pay a visit to Jean-Jacques Rousseau, philosopher, writer, novelist and composer, who liked to call himself the bear, the hermit or the monster, and was very protective of his time. The portraitist and painter Elisabeth Vigée-Lebrun will teach you how to deal with interruptions while working on your art. The author of Liaisons, Dangereuses, Choderlos de Laclos, has a lot to say about time. He has spent 1 year in jail, and he will show you how he uses habits to save time, how he deals with excuses for not having enough time. To save time and make the most of your day, knowing how to deal with interruptions is critical. The painter Elisabeth Vigée-Lebrun knew how to deal with these situations, simple and efficient. Sometimes when I'm painting, I refuse to see anyone in the world but my model, which more than once has made me rude to the people coming to disturb me at my work. One morning, when I was occupied with finishing a portrait, the King of Poland came to see me. Having heard the noise of horses at my door, I fully suspected it was he who was paying me a call, but I was so absorbed in my task that I lost my temper so far as to cry out at the moment he opened the door, "I'm not at home!" The king, without a word, put on his cloak again and went away. Thank you, Elisabeth, that's pretty efficient. Although we will revisit chapters of his life in upcoming videos, let's see how the author of Les Liaisons Dangereuses, Choderlos de Laclos, uses habit as a time saver to help him accomplishing more and better no matter the circumstances. In 1794, he is in jail at Picpus prison in Paris for political reasons and writes to his wife every day. Picpus, June 15, 1794. My health, my lifestyle, my work, nothing has changed. Fortunately, I have always loved uniformity enough. Though there is plenty of it in my life this day, I'm still not disgusted of it. When one does the same thing every day, habit replaces decision. Then we don't have to focus on doing the right choice. We can add more attention and care to do well what we are doing. Do you remember my brother wondering for 15 minutes before leaving our home if he would have a walk before his dinner or if he would dine before his walk? I know these doubts have often kept me half days doing nothing as I couldn't decide where I wanted to start. Here at least my schedule is all settled and it's going smoothly. And don't presume because he was in prison, he was lazy. He was actually very productive. He wrote a grammar book for children and women because it was all about educating women, and he has noticed their letters are usually awfully packed with grammar mistakes. He studied agriculture and accounting and taught mathematics to his fellow prisoners. He also created his third child, Charles, his favorite son. Talk about productivity. Always making the most of his circumstances, however tough and limited they may be. Picpus, May 28, 1794. You probably remember, my dearest friend, what I was telling you a few days ago. after teaching mathematics to 2 of my unfortunate companions. This course is completed. This first success has implied us to start a new one. A third student has joined us, and I teach now to the 3 of them accounting. We have started yesterday, and I'm writing now just after my lesson. You see, I didn't lose my ability to teach what I ignore. I'm learning in the morning what I teach in the evening, and sometimes I'm learning even while I'm teaching as I go through my lesson. This work, playing cards, playing at draughts, keep me busy most of the day. What remains of it is all spent thinking of you and of my children. The philosopher and writer Jean-Jacques Rousseau didn't like to have anyone invade his life. He was extremely popular at the time, and he received tons of letters every day. At the time, the receiver is the one who pays for the letters, for most of them. So he has to pay for a lot of letters he receives. Let's see what he writes to a painter, fan of his books, who wrote to him 3 times in a row, begging him to reply. September 14, 1756, L'Hermitage. I see you enjoy writing. I don't blame you for that. But in my case, I don't like to have to reply, especially to compliments, and it is unfair that you tyrannize me for your own pleasure. My time is not valuable, as you say. I spend it in pain or doing nothing, and I confess it's not possible to do a worse use of it. But if I can't use it in a more useful way for anyone, at least I don't want anyone to prevent me from wasting it as much as I wish. 1 single minute taken away from me is a good all the kings of the universe could never give back to me. And it is to spend my time as I wish that I left the boring and bored people from the city who don't know what to do with their time, so enjoy wasting others. You are always complaining you don't have the time for this, for that, time is flying, making excuses all day long. Laclos knows how to deal with such excuses. Let's see what he replies to his eldest son Etienne, 19 years old, who is doing an apprenticeship in diplomacy in Germany at the time, and he complains he doesn't have the time to study. Though Laclos has certainly done his good share of extravagances in his youth, he has always been a brilliant student, hard worker, bookworm. Working as a hobby, always admired and congratulated by his superiors. He cannot understand his son, who hates studying, loves games, going out, spends money he doesn't have, and makes spelling and grammar mistakes at every word. Even for Valmont, parenting a teenager is hard in the 18th century. Paris, April 10, 1803. You remember, I never cease to urge you to take care of your spelling. This is just what happened to me on the matter. I was at the office of the Foreign Affairs Minister Talleyrand, and I was there for you. He took out of one of his files a large letter, which I think was from Monsieur de la Rochefoucauld, and asked me if you copied it. I recognize your handwriting, so I replied you did. Then he told me, how is it possible that one of Monsieur de Laclos' sons has the spelling of a cook? I apologized and said your education has probably been a bit too directed towards mathematics, and I assured him I was always encouraging you to take care of it. There is no time to lose. You must find at Dresden a French and grammar teacher. You need one. Waking up earlier, going to bed later, one finds time for everything now. What do you want me to say? Your fate is in your hands. It's not what I would ever write to you that could change anything, but what you will do by yourself.